My story began in the warm steam of my grandmother's kitchen. The air was thick with the scent of red palm oil and fiery peppers. The music of her mortar and pestle was the rhythm of my childhood. She taught me the old ways, how to listen to the ingredients, how to feel the story in the food. She said, "This is not just cooking, my child. This is memory made edible. This is our history in a pot." But the world outside our kitchen grew loud with uncertainty. So I packed our lives into 2 suitcases. I held my small son's hand, and we crossed the ocean. The land below us fell away, replaced by a vast and empty blue. We arrived in America, a world of sharp lines and silent snow. The cold was not just in the air, it was in the stairs, on the bus, the hollow echo of our empty apartment, the relentless silence of a phone that never rang. I was a ghost in a bright land. My son cried at night for the son he knew, for the voices of his cousins. I had nothing to give him but a shushing sound and a promise that felt thin as paper. In the dark, I found work cleaning offices. At night, I would bundle my boy in layers, and he would sleep in a chair in the corner of a large, cold room filled with other people's success. I wiped their desks, I emptied their trash, I saw pictures of their families, and felt a loneliness so deep it had its own weight. My body ached, my spirit ached, but my hands, they remembered the rhythm. One day in a supermarket, a place so full of food, it felt like a taunt. I saw a jar, it said authentic African taste. I bought it, I opened it, I tasted it, and I cried. It was a ghost, a hollow thing with no memory, no soul. It tasted of nothing. And in that nothing a spark ignited. My grandmother's voice was suddenly there in my ear. "You have hands, child, you have memory, you have a duty." So that night in my tiny kitchen with my son sleeping just feet away, I took out my mortar, my pestle, my true inheritance. I ground the peppers, the onions, the garlic, the ginger. The scents erupted, a revolution in that sterile air. They filled the room, they filled me. My son woke up, he came to the kitchen, he said, "Mama, it smells like home," and my heart broke and rebuilt itself in a single beat. I cooked, I poured my story into that pot, my fear, my hope, my longing. I bottled it and called it Zephyr, a wind that carries change. The next day I went to a street market. I stood with my 12 bottles, my heart a wild drum. A woman approached, her eyes held a familiar sadness. She was from Ghana. She tasted my sauce from a small spoon. I held my breath, her eyes closed, and when they opened, they were shining. She said, this tastes like my mother's kitchen." She bought 2 jars. She was my first customer, my first proof that I was not alone. That first sale was a seed planted in frozen ground. I sold jars one by one. I went to every market, every festival. I faced rejection after rejection. They said, "No, thank you, we have enough sauce, we don't need your kind." But I remembered my son's face. I remembered the woman from Ghana. I found grace in a borrowed kitchen. Mama Beatrice, a Jamaican grandmother who saw my struggle and opened her door. She became my fortress. We cooked through the nights, the steam, a cloud of dreams, our laughter a weapon against the doubt. Then a miracle, a small grocery store owned by a kind Vietnamese man. He said, "I will take 20 jars." I ran home, I screamed, I danced with my son. We had an order, a real order. Then another store, then a website. Orders began to trickle in from people scattered far from home. They wrote me letters. They said, "Your sauce brought me back, thank you." My son grew, he started to help with the labels, his small hands so careful, so proud. He would tell his friends, "My mama makes the best food in America." My business grew from a single pot to a shared kitchen to a facility of our own. I called it Zephyr Foods. Now my sauces sit on shelves in stores across this country, the very stores that once felt like impenetrable castles. I source my peppers from a women's collective in my homeland, a circle of empowerment that makes my grandmother smile in my dreams. Call me a success, an entrepreneur, but I am just Amara, a mother, a daughter, a woman who refused to let her story be erased. I was a seed buried in the cold, dark earth. I was cracked open, I was stepped on, but I reached for the sun with the only tools I had, my 2 hands, and the memory of my grandmother's love. And I learned that from the darkest soil grows the most resilient bloom. And my child, that is a truth that can never be broken.